magic, the occult, and religion.
Good afternoon and welcome to Just News on May the 4th. I'm Matt King.
And I'm Leah Green. The headlines. Just News is live at the local election count in Sheffield for the latest results.
A man's died after falling from the roof of a Sheffield car park.
They were making a splash at Ponds Ford this week where the Water World Championships went down with a bang.
The count's underway in the local council election in Sheffield. Labour's been strengthening their grip across the country. But what's the situation here? Let's cross live to the English Institute of Sport with our reporter John Mann. John, I've heard Paul Scriven's lost his seat. What's the latest?
That's right, Matt. Paul Scriven is out. It's official. Now, all the votes are in. It's been a very exciting morning here at the count, and Labour have gained 10 seats. That's a massive increase, and just what Labour were looking for. Just a moment ago, they were doing a photo call over the balcony, and there was a sea of red, lots of cheering. Labour are very happy. Now, Paul Scriven, he lost his seat. He's the former leader of the council for the Liberal Democrats. He lost his seat to Jane Dunn, who won with a 500 vote majority. Now, one thing to say about this election is that the turnout has been very low. That's not really surprising. We'll be getting some more feedback on the turnout figures a little bit later on.
What's been the reaction from the other parties?
The other parties are obviously quite disappointed. They were hoping to retain some of the seats that they lost. But it's not all bad news. For example, in the ward of Stannington, the Liberal Democrats have actually increased their majority by quite a large amount. Now, they won their seat last year by only 5 votes. So to get an increase, however small, is a big gain for them. And
is there any news on the mayoral vote yet?
Not yet. Now the local election vote is finished, they're now focusing on the mayoral referendum, and behind me they're counting the ballot papers as we speak. However, we won't know the results until much later this afternoon. But as ever, Just News will keep you updated.
Thanks a lot, John.
Thank you.
I'm joined now in the studio with our political expert, Nasser Tuaibia. Nasser, where are we up to now in the national picture?
Yes, so far the Labour seem to be winning and gaining more councils over the Conservatives.
Yeah, okay. Would you say that people in these council elections are voting based on their feelings towards the government now, towards the coalition?
It's more complicated than that. It's first of all, there is an indication that people are angry with the performance of the coalition government, and in many cases, recent surveys showed that many voters were not going to vote because they were angry. So the politics run, or the policies of the coalition government, turn them off politics, so they feel disengaged now. So it's that, and another thing to consider is that saying that Labour are people, especially talking about Sheffield, because we're in Sheffield, people in Sheffield, they usually vote Labour. So since there is no inspiration, so they would say we might as well just vote as usual, just Labour. So that's making a bit of a difference.
Okay.
A young man's died after falling from the roof of a car park in the centre of Sheffield. It happened yesterday at 5 p.m. at Kew Car Park on Arundelgate. The man hasn't been named by the police, who say they're not treating the death as suspicious. The police aren't looking for anyone in connection with the death. The coroner has been informed.
Please, sir, can I have some more books? Well, Sheffield Central Library is giving away 1,500 copies of Dickens's classic Oliver Twist. It's part of the bicentenary celebration in May of the famous author's birth. Finola Miles went down to pick up a copy.
Sheffield's been celebrating a very special birthday this month. But Charles Dickens is no spring chicken. Sheffield's libraries are giving out free copies of Dickens's masterpiece Oliver Twist all this month, to mark 200 years since the writer was born. It's also hoped that the books will attract a younger generation of readers, all queuing up for more, sir. But what is it about Dickens that has built such great expectations?
It's just so iconic, and I think it kind of like he springs the characters off the page and brings it to life, and it's almost, these stories can be timeless as well. There's like the idea, they've got those themes that run through it and they're quite classic, I think.
The city's just one of several taking part in the campaign, and with a third of the 1,500 copies already flying off the shelves, and many more events planned for the coming weeks, it's definitely not the worst of times for Dickens fans, as Sheffield Libraries hope the best of times are yet to come. Finola Miles for Just News in Sheffield.
It's been a big weekend of football for both Sheffield clubs as they've been pushed for the automatic promotion. Wednesday are in the driving seat and their home game against Wycombe is already sold out. Earlier in the week, eager fans were queuing for hours to get tickets for the game as they know a win will mean championship football for the Owls. The blue half of the city looks set to claim the last automatic promotion place. Wednesday are 1 point above local rivals United, who are away to Exeter. But only 1,700 fans were allowed to make the long journey to the West Country. So Bramwell Lane is screening the game live in response to requests from the fans. And we'll have a full report on our news bulletin later today.
Ponds Forge may be famous for Olympic diving, but this week it's played host to the 8th annual Water Bombing World Championships. They really were splashing around down there.
So which one do you think was me there?
What, were you diving then?
I was, yeah.
Oh, the one with a really big splash right at the end?
Thanks.
And the weather. It's starting to brighten up around Sheffield after a rather cloudy morning with even a few bright spells on their way later. And into the bank holiday weekend it'll be a bit of a mixed bag. Dry with a few sunny spells on Monday and then the rain's back.
That's all from Just News. Join us again later today. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Magic, the occult, and religion.